Hi, and welcome to Stamp with Ginny. Today I'm going to share with you how I made this fun box card that'll fold flat for mailing, along with the beautiful signature panel for the back, giving you plenty of room to write your message. So let me set this aside and I'll show you how I got started. To create my box card, I am going to take my piece of cardstock here, which is the base, and score at a 1/2 inch mark. And then I'm going to score at 1.5, 3, and 4. I'm going to set this piece to the side and bring in my smaller piece here. And I'm going to score this at the 3.5 inch mark and 4.5 inch mark. And I'm ready to set my board to the side. I'm going to begin stamping for this project, and I'm going to bring in my sentiment here for birthday, and I'm going to stamp it right here on the basic white cardstock. I'm going to be cutting this out with my die, and so I just need a little spacing around the edge. Once I have that done, I'm going to bring in my basic white back panel, and I'm going to stamp Happy Birthday. Let's see, I'm going to stamp this right about here. I'll be adding a strip of designer series paper down the left side, so I want to leave it closer to the right. So there you go. Let me cut this out and we'll start assembling the box card. Okay, I've die cut my sentiment and I've fussy cut my little flower from my sheet of flowers here. And I'm ready to start assembling. So I'm going to bring in my Coastal Cabana piece of cardstock, and I'm going to fold it on the score lines. I'm going to use my bone folder because I want these to be nice and sharp for assembly. There we go. And I'm going to add my piece of designer series paper here onto the largest section of my scored paper. Once I have that in place, I can turn this or fold this in half, and I can add my strip of designer series paper here on this largest panel. Now I want to make sure my flowers are going in the same direction, so if your paper is directional, make sure you're paying attention to that. There we go. At this point, I want to put a piece of tear and tape on this outside 1/2 inch strip. So I'm going to open this up so I protect that beautiful paper from the adhesive, and I am going to place a strip of this tear and tape right down, and I like to put it close to the score line. I'm going to bring my tool in and then simply pull against it. There we go. I've got that on there, and I've burnished, so I'm going to pull this off, fold my little box. Let's see, and I'm going to fold this flap under. Make sure I line up my edges. And adhere down. And a quick way to do that is to fold it on this second score line here and then simply adhere. I'm going to burnish that quickly, and I'm going to bring in the second piece of cardstock. I'm going to fold on both of those score lines with my bone folder once again, and I'm going to add a piece of tear and tape on the section on the end close to the score line. Bring in my tool again and pull against it and burnish. Now before I adhere this down, I'm going to add my designer series paper onto this panel. So you just need to decide which direction you want it to go and where you want your flower to be in relationship to that. So I think I'm going to put the pool party towards the top on this particular piece and adhere it down. Now to adhere this panel, I like to fold it here on the second score line, remove my adhesive, add a little adhesive here against the very outside of this flap, and you can use tear and tape there also if you would like. I'm going to open this up and set this on the first flap. What this does is allow me to place this where I want it. I'm going to set that in about, oh, a half an inch on my card front there. Tear and tape doesn't take the dry time, so let's let that dry. And then I'm going to fold this in half here and lay this down and burnish. And what that'll do is give me my panel right where I want it to be. And of course it folds flat for putting in your envelope. I'm ready to decorate now, and I don't want to add a lot of depth to this, so I'm going to simply decide where I want to put this, and let's see, and how I want the flower to go. And I think I want the flower on the left side here, and so I'm going to place my sentiment towards the top simply by adding it like so. I want to make sure when I add my flower I've got enough room when it's closed, and I think that's good. So I'm going to press that down, and then I'm going to add my flower. Now I'm going to use dimensionals on this, so I'm going to actually turn this over and kind of use this outline of the card front as my location for the dimensionals. So I'm going to place 1, 2, I think 3. And if you have one where you want to put it right in here, you can. Just make sure that when you are placing it onto your card front, your adhesive is on this section here. So I'm going to remove those. Keeping my finger where that dimensional is, so I know I'm going to rotate. I need to rotate this a little here so that I stay on the card front. So I'm going to place it like so, making sure that I've got all those dimensionals on that area. And of course, if you miss it, you can use your embossing buddy to deaden that adhesive a little bit. So there you go. I've got my flower in place, and I'm ready to add some jewels. I'm going to bring in my opaque adhesive back gems. They've got this wonderful little Melon Mambo choice, so I'm going to pick that up and pop a few of these around my card front. So I'm going to place one here, and then I think I'm going to take a medium one and place it up here, and a small one here, and I think right in there. So there we go, a little pop of color around the card front with our gems, and I'm ready to bring in my signature panel. Now, because this is a fun fold and the box is the complete front, I'm going to create the signature panel for the back right here. So I'm going to add this beautiful little strip of designer series paper down the one edge like so. And then I can adhere this right onto my back, or if you prefer, you can wait and adhere it when you're ready to send so that you can sign your signature panel and write a little message. So there you go. It's that quick and easy, and you've got this beautiful card that will stand, but still fold flat for mailing. I think you're really going to enjoy the Something Fancy bundle of products found in our mini. And of course, if you'd like any of these products, feel free to stop by my online store. You can get there from my blog, Stamp with Jini. Thanks for joining me.